How's it going, everybody? Welcome to X-Plane 11. We are going to be flying the Cirrus SR22 today. We are parked in Aurora, Oregon, just north of Salem, and we are going to be heading to Portland. It's going to be a pretty quick flight, about 10-15 minutes or so, but this is going to be an opportunity for us to test out this airplane some more, get a little bit of autopilot flying in, and test out the approach intercept. So let's go ahead, get this plane started up, and we will get on out of here. So this is the first time we are playing X-Plane on this channel. We played a couple of games before, but not X-Plane. I do a little bit of flight simulators in my own time, and I figured I wanted to show this plane off to you guys because it's really cool, and I really enjoy flying this plane a lot. I'm used to flying 50-year-old Cessna airplanes in real life. Let's fly a $700,000 airplane in virtual game. So we got our remove before flight cover on here. Let's go ahead to our weight and balance. We'll remove the shield, tie downs, covers, and shocks. And we can now see out. There it is. We just got a very few clouds up in the sky today. It should be pretty calm. It is about 8 in the morning right now. And it's not going to be too long of a flight, as I said. So let's go ahead, open up our avatar. We're going to go to our charts, and we are going to be going to PDX runway 28 to the left, I believe. And yes, we're going to be taking 28 left, 28 left. So here is our approach, which we will be intercepting. But let's go ahead, turn on our avionics, and let's program in our flight path here. All that is booting up. Let's go ahead and open our center console, grab the key, and while we're here, let's remove this right here. Key is now over there. We got a couple warnings, that's fine. Airplane's not on. We're going to go to our map. We're going to get off topo. That's going to be gone. And let's clean this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's open up our flight plan. We will go enter on here. We are in KUAO right now, and we're going to be going to KPDX right there. That's going to pen there. So now we have our flight path right there. And once we're in the air, I will go ahead and program our approach. We'll do that later though. So that looks like that's all for that. We'll go ahead and follow our normal procedure for startup. Mixture goes to full rich. Go full on the throttle. Boost pump goes to on. Go ahead and turn on our nav and our strobes. We go to a quarter on that, making sure the parking brake is on, off, on, there it is. And that's all there is to it. We go ahead, start it up. And there you go. That is all there is to it. Bring the power back to about 1,000 RPMs. And that is it. This airplane is very cool and super high tech. My favorite view is detail. It shows you actually where we are on the airport. And I just think that's really awesome. We also got EVS, which is pretty much air backup camera. It's actually on the front of the plane though. So that's really awesome. We can check our systems. Everything looks pretty good. It's in the green. So I say let's go ahead and get on out of here. Let's range in just a little bit on our map so you can see that. Take a look at the airplane on the outside. We'll take off the parking brake and let's get on out of here. We're going to be taking off up this way. We're going to taxi onto the runway, and we should be in Portland in no time. Check our brakes. They are working. Let's put the parking brake on real quick. We will turn on our landing lights. Let's go ahead and check our trim here. Bring that up about there. That's good. Take a look around the airplane. Looks awesome. We are ready to get on out of here. Parking brake goes to off. Power goes to about 30% or so. Stabilize. And let's go. Airspeed is alive. Rotation speed is about 75 knots. And rotate. There we are. We are out of here going to Portland. Flaps come up. There we go. There's the drop. And we will go ahead and do something I forgot to do. We will set our altitude for autopilot. We will set it about 3,000 feet or so. Enable V speed goes to, we'll say about 1,000 feet just for now. Nav mode for our heading and on. I'm not touching anything. The plane is controlling itself. It is doing everything. It is climbing at 1,000 feet per minute up to 3,000 feet, and it is following our flight path directly to Portland. If I take a look at Avatab, we need to be coming in at Hipster at around 3,700 feet, so I will go ahead and increase that right here. We'll do about 35. We know it's a short flight. We got 8 minutes left, so we'll do that. Let's go ahead and go up to 1,200 feet per minute. That's good right there. Alright, let's take a look. It is flying itself. It took me a little while to learn the instruments and how everything works on this plane, but once you figure it out, it's not too complicated. This is a very easy airplane to fly. Hand flying is pretty good, but it's also super easy to program autopilot. There's a couple of different modes. I'm using V speed right now, vertical speed, which is going to set up our 1,200 feet per minute. And then we're following nav mode. We can also do heading mode. So once we get to Portland, we'll be going at 283. So I could set my heading right there, 283. But we're not going to be doing heading. We're going to do an approach. So that's going to be right here. So let's go ahead and set that up right here. For procedure, we'll select our approach. We are going to be taking runway 28 left. There we go. That beep right there tells us 1,000 feet to go. 28 left. We got 2 of them. We will do X is what we're doing. Hit enter on that. Yes, vectors. We will leave minimums off for now. We will load that, activate it when we get closer. If we go to our flight plan, once we do activate that approach, it will follow the glide path here. We can enable the approach and it'll intercept this right here, and it'll automatically adjust our altitude for us as well. So that's pretty awesome. There's not a lot to fly in this airplane. It is very fun. I really enjoy this. If we take a look at our detail view, you can see where we are. That's really awesome as well. We'll go ahead and pull our power back so we don't go screaming in here. About 30. Going about, our manifold pressure should be around 30 or so. That's looking pretty good. Our speed is dropping slightly, but very little, so that's looking really great right there. Now, as you can see, we have Hannah, Adam, and this is our path right here. There's Hipster over there. So let's go ahead and activate our approach. We go activate to vector final, hit enter on that, and the airplane is turning the wrong way. Let's go ahead and turn autopilot off right there. I had a feeling it would do that. We're actually going to go direct to Hipster, enter on that. Yes, activate autopilot. There we go. It tends to do that. I haven't figured that out exactly, but now we are following. We're going, as you can see, up top right here in the middle. We are going direct to Hipster is where we're following. And then we are going to follow this approach right here, and it's going to automatically adjust our altitude. We just have to be taking care of the speed. I could do the flight control if I wanted to, so it could do the speed. I can do one thing at least, that's fine. If we exit out of this, you can see that we are now, instead of going direct to Portland, we're now turning towards Hipster. And that's then going to turn us around this way, and we're going to follow this right here. Once we get to about Hannah, I will activate the approach, so it's going to intercept that glide path, and then it will take care of the altitude for me. It could essentially land itself. I will take over towards the end, and I can do that myself, but that is about all there is to it. taking a look at our outside air temperature. We're at 8.8 degrees, so we don't have to do anything with heating or ice visually. Can't see anything, we don't have to worry about anything there until about 5 degrees. And it's just following its path right along. And once we do get up to Hipster, you'll be able to see it's going to turn by itself, which is pretty cool. There's really not a lot to it. It's kind of scary having the plane bank that far to the left, but it's actually pretty cool. I love autopilot on my car. I love autopilot in my airplane. It's pretty awesome. Now, if we were not going to do the approach, if we were just going to follow the path that it put out for us, it would tell us right up to the left of the en route to the right of our 3500 what our upcoming altitude would be, so we can plan ahead and it'll know. So that's pretty cool. I've done full manual landings and flights in this. I've done manual landings following the autopilot and doing my own glide path, and I've also done a full automatic approach. The automatic approach is super awesome. I've only done this once, but I tend to fly into Portland because it's a pretty simple airport and it has a very good setup with the glide path. Some of them just don't show up right. This one works really well, so that's kind of what I've been flying. I've been flying this airplane for a while. I've done several flights in this, and it's an amazing airplane. I really enjoy the technology in this. It's not too often that I get to experience this level of technology. Again, this is like $700,000 for this airplane, where I'm used to the small training airplanes that are 50 years old and have been rebuilt 3 times. That's what I'm used to. Yeah, I'm lucky if there's even a 2-inch screen in there, so this is very fun. I don't fly autopilot very often. And again, I am newer to aviation. I'm not an expert in all of this, and I'm sure I don't do some of the stuff right. Again, I'm learning this airplane, and I'm still learning a whole bunch of other stuff. So let me know if there's anything I should be doing differently. Again, I'm new to this, so just let me know. So we're approaching about a minute away from Hipster. It's going to make our turn for us eventually. I did select Hipster as our direct route. I could have done Hannah if I wanted to cut that a little bit short. That's probably something I could have done. We didn't need to come this far out. This is more for commercial traffic to go this way, but it's going to line us up really good. I always like to make sure I have enough room to follow my path properly. So that's what I do. About 8 seconds away from Hipster. It's coming up on the screen. And we're going to make our turn very soon. I am not touching any of the controls. And as you can see, we are now making our left turn to Hannah. That direct path from Hipster changed. So now we are Hipster to Hannah. And it is saying to reduce to 2,900 feet once we get to Hannah, which is correct. Take a look at the airplane, and then we will set that 2,900. Once we get to Hannah, we will enable the approach. So we're turning. We can see the airport is going to be off to our right somewhere. I think it's behind this pillar right now. We will go ahead and just select 2,900 for our altitude. Right there. And we will do our V-speed once we straighten out here. There's the airport right off our nose. Right there, we are taking 28 left. So it's lining up for that approach. And let's go ahead and drop our altitude here. It even tells you about what we want to be doing. And we are slowing down. Now this has popped up here on the left side for our approach. So let's go ahead and enable that right there. We now have our approach enabled. It will intercept that in a minute once we get lined up a little bit better. This GP will go green and we'll have a little diamond that comes up as well. We are almost to 2,900 feet, and again, once we line up, it should come up with that glide path. There it is right there. It's now active. So now it's going to control our altitude. Again, V-speed is off. We're in altitude mode now. Approach is enabled and is following the nav down to the airport. It's doing everything for us except speed. Let's definitely bring that speed back a little bit. We're getting a little too crazy there. I wasn't paying attention at that point. But it's doing our heading and our altitude. It's going to bring us pretty much perfectly where we need to be at for our landing. I will take control once we get a little bit closer, and we will deploy our flaps once we reach the proper speed. We need about 150 knots for 50% and 110 for 100%. I'll wait till we're about a mile away before we do a full 100% on the flaps. And we don't need our speed reduction quite yet. Maybe once we get to Atom, we will consider enabling our first stage of flaps. Taking care of our altitude perfectly, we need to be at 2,000 feet when we reach Atom. And we are just about there. We already passed it technically on our systems. We're now en route to UNIP, but we're passing it right there, and it's perfect. Right there is looking great. Let's go ahead and enable our first stage of flaps. There's that. Nose goes up a little bit, and our speed is dropping. We're looking for about 110 knots when we're about a mile away, and about 85 knots for our landing. Our 45 seconds to UNIP, and then, or 1.7 miles, and then once we pass UNIP, we will be able to see our distance to the final runway. That'll then tell me how far I need to go before I do my flaps. Like I said, I have done manual landings. I have just followed autopilot, but it's so cool using approach because it takes your altitude down for you. Sometimes with this airplane I have troubles getting it down to the right level that I need for landing, but it's doing it for us. Look at those lights right there. Got 2 and 2. It's holding that perfectly. It knows what it's doing better than I do. We will reduce our power just a little bit right there. We are now en route to runway 28 left. We're 3 miles out, so once we get to about a mile away, we will go ahead and enable those flaps, reducing power to get to around 110 for those last stage of flaps. And again, it's maintaining everything for us, so we don't have to worry about a thing. Let's go ahead and range in on here, see where we're working with. We can get a better glance of the airport right there. Reducing speed a little bit more. We need to get closer to that 110 before we do last stage of flaps. We've got about 0.7 miles or so until we reach that. And there is the 110, 108. Need a little bit more speed. Let's go ahead and do those last stage of flaps right now. Take a look at here. Yep, those are active. We're looking for about 85 knots on our landing. I will take over in a little bit. I want to see how far it can get us. We are still looking really great on the approach 2 and 2. That's awesome. And we've got 11 seconds away. I will take over right about, well, let's see. Right about now should be good. We got control over the airplane. It is ours now. And we will cut power right now. There goes power. Bring the nose up. And touchdown, nose down. There goes the brakes. And we'll just roll this one out right here. We'll take the next exit up there. And that is all there is to it. Let's go ahead and get those RPMs up. We do want to make sure we don't get them too low. Approach goes off. Flight director goes off. We are good. Landing lights should have come on. Oops. We're just rolling it out. We need to keep our RPM to around 1,000. That's a little bit better right there. Airspeed is away. We have landed in Portland. Welcome, everybody. That was a very fun flight. That was an awesome landing. I really like flying into Portland. Some of the things with this approach, it's just such a great approach. I really enjoy this one. It looks like AI traffic's not going right now. We're just going to park wherever. I know this isn't appropriate to be parking or even landing really here. Private traffic is typically on the other side, I believe, from when I've flown in here. We'll just go ahead and pull over here for a second and we will shut off the airplane, finish it out, and we can get on to our next flight in another video. So we will just be parking. Oh, right here is fine. Again, this is not right, and I'm saying this is not right either. We'll park right here. There goes parking brake. Parking alarm goes on, and we'll shut off our engines right there. Mixture goes to cutout. Throttle goes away. Pump goes off. Alternators go off. There go the lights. And that is it. That's really all there is to it. We can turn off our avionics and our battery. We will put out our chocks, and that is it. We are landed. Everything went awesome, and that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, be sure to let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I really enjoy flying this airplane. It's a ton of fun. So let me know. Anyway, that's all. Thank you for watching as always. This is Mark, and I will see you in the next one.